Hello, my name is Aviva, and today I'm going to share with you all of the books that I recently got. So since my last book haul, which was maybe a month or so ago, I have collected about 15 more books that I wanted to share with you. A handful of them were gifted to me, and then a handful of them I got for myself. I am going to go through the ones that were gifted to me first because, who doesn't love gifted books? They deserve to go first. So first up, I did get Sweet Dandelion by Michaela Schmelzer, and this was actually gifted to me by the designer of the cover for this book. Her name is Emily Wittig Designs on Instagram and TikTok. She's all over the place. I'll make sure that her username is linked down below in case you want to check her out because she has so many amazing cover designs that she shows off on all of her platforms. But anyway, this is actually an age gap romance that does deal with heavier topics. I'm pretty sure that the girl in this book was just in a high school shooting, and then she ends up having a romance with her guidance counselor, and that sounds very unique to me. It is a bit of a thick book, but I do know that it is also kind of heavy on the romance, I believe, based off of the stuff that I've heard about this book. But anyway, I'm really excited to read this book, and this is one of the most beautiful covers I have ever seen in my entire life. So thank you so much to Emily for gifting this to me. Next, I was also gifted A Not So Me Cute by Megan Quinn. Diana from Blondie's Book Corner actually sent this to me off of my wish list. So thank you so much to Diana for sending this to me. I actually already read this book and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's a fake dating romance between this billionaire and then this girl who just lost her job, and it was so freaking funny. I actually talked about it in my January wrap up, so if you wanted to hear more about this book, then I recommend watching that video. Next, I got It Ain't Me Babe by Tilly Cole, which again was gifted to me off of my wish list by Kim. So thank you so much for sending this to me. You guys have no idea how happy it makes me when I get a surprise in the mail. Absolutely love it. So I actually already read this book also, and I talked about it in my January wrap up. So that video will be linked down below. But if you're not familiar with what this book is about, it's actually a very dark book. It's about this girl who just escaped one of those crazy cults, the ones that literally rape children and mind wash you or whatever you want to call it. And anyway, she ends up on this doorstep of a motorcycle club and ends up having a romance with the president of that motorcycle club that she happened to have met one time when she was a kid. So it's a very interesting book. It is very dark, very twisted. I definitely recommend checking out what I had to say about it in my January wrap up, as well as trigger warnings if you're intrigued and plan to check it out. Next, I was sent Juniper Hill by Devney Perry, which is the second book in the Eden's Companion series. And I'm pretty sure I read this in the beginning of the month, and I talked about it in my mid-month wrap up, but I was a huge fan of this. This is a small town romance with a single mom and then this guy that is working at a hotel as a chef where she is the housekeeper of. It is a very cute romance, very sweet, very small town vibes, and I really did enjoy it. I will admit that I liked Indigo Ridge more than this one, but it was still a great continuation of this series. We were just following a different Eden's character, all of their last names are Edens, and it was a great time. I was also sent Waiting to Score by Eloise Tynan. I hope I'm saying her last name right. But anyway, she so kindly gifted me a copy of her new release, which is a fake dating basketball romance. I'm pretty sure it is set in college, and it looks really good. This girl jumps this guy in the quad and gives him a kiss because she's trying to get her ex-boyfriend jealous, and then they end up fake dating, and obviously they're gonna fall for each other. I'm a huge fan of sports romances, and I cannot wait to check this one out. So thank you again so much to the author for sending me a copy. I was also sent a final copy of How to Love Your Neighbor by Sophie Sullivan. The publisher actually sent me a copy of this, St. Martin Publishing, because this book actually recently came out. It came out, I think, on January 11th or something like that. Anyway, it's about this enemies to lovers, neighbors situation sort of thing. This guy wants to buy her house so that he could expand his property, but she doesn't want to sell it, so then they end up feuding, and obviously they'll fall for each other. I actually did try picking this book up in January, and if you want to hear my thoughts on it, again, I recommend watching my January wrap up because I did talk about it in that video. And now for the books that I actually purchased myself. I did pick up Scarred by Emily McIntyre, which is the second book in the Never After Companion series, which is a fairy tale, dark and twisted retelling of sorts. The first book was called Hooked, and it was a Peter Pan retelling. And this one, I am almost positive, has something to do with maybe Mufasa, one of the characters from The Lion King, something along those lines. And I guess it's going to be some sort of romance. I seriously don't really know anything about this book other than the fact that it's actually getting amazing reviews at the moment. It recently came out and it's been all over my feed. And I already did read Hooked, and I thoroughly enjoyed that book. So I am very excited to check out the second book in the companion series. I also got 2 books by Mariana Zapata, which was Wait for It and then Luna and the Lie. So Wait for It, I've already met this character in one of the other books that I read by her. I think maybe we met her in like The Wall of Winnipeg or Culty or something like that. I'm not really sure, but in this book, we're following this girl and she's gonna end up having a relationship with her neighbor, and she's like a newly single mom, and like I don't really know exactly what her situation is, but basically supposedly this one is really good. I've heard that this is some people's favorite Mariana Zapata book, so I am really excited to check it out. And then I also picked up Luna and the Lie, which honestly I know absolutely nothing about, but I have seen it rated as one of the top books by Mariana Zapata, so I've decided to check it out as well. Then I got the Fine Print by Lauren Asher, which I believe is about this guy who is about to inherit like a Disneyland sort of amusement park, and he's like a millionaire, and he's somehow going to have like a relationship with somebody, and I actually have really no clue who it's going to be with. I don't really know much about this book, but it's all over my feed all the freaking time, and I've heard really good things. To be honest though, I have heard really bad things about it as well, but I'm going to go into it with low expectations so that hopefully I don't end up being let down, and hopefully I'll get really surprised and end up loving it. So if you've read this book before, let me know what you think about it down in the comment section below, because at the moment I am getting very mixed vibes on this one. I also recently got Be Still My Heart by Emily McIntyre and Sav R. Miller. So I bought this book on a whim based off of like 3 people's recommendations. I didn't even read the synopsis, but I recently read Indigo Ridge and I said that I really liked that book, and then people basically recommended me this book because they said it is very similar. Supposedly, it is about a small town where a murder happens, and then this girl comes in and starts investigating it, and a romance is somehow going to bloom between somebody. So that is very similar to Indigo Ridge, and that is all I know about this book based off of what people have told me. I literally didn't read the back of the book. I kind of want to go into it not knowing and just like be surprised, because the few reviews that I have seen on it have been really, really good. So this is one of the ones where I'm just like taking people's words for it, and I'm going to, you know, just check it out without really knowing anything about it. I also got the Mindfuck series by St. Abby, which I did already read and I absolutely loved it. This is about a girl who is a serial killer who ends up having a romance with an FBI agent who is in middle of investigating her case and trying to find her. And this is a much heavier book than you might believe. Like, she's a serial killer for a reason. She has a very traumatic past, and you're slowly going to learn about it as you read it. And I know that this book is very hyped up at the moment, and I gotta say, I definitely understand its hype. I absolutely loved this book. It was basically like a Criminal Minds episode mixed with a romance in a book, and I was all here for it. I did chat about it on my January wrap-up though, so I'm not going to waste your time and re-talk about it. But all I'm going to say is that it was amazing, and if you're considering reading it, then I highly say to go for it. And the last books that I have to share with you is actually the entire Devil's Night series by Penelope Douglas. So it is 4 books and then like 2 novellas. It's Corrupt, Hideaway, Kill Switch, and then like, I don't know, Conclave, Nightfall, and Fire Night. Yeah, I think so, whatever. Anyway, I read the first 3 books in the series. I read Corrupt, and then Hideaway, and then Kill Switch. And happens to be, I really did enjoy Corrupt. I was very weirded out. I was very uncomfortable while reading this whole book, and you know, I still read it anyway. I liked it by the end of it, and then I moved on to Hideaway and hated it, and then I moved on to Kill Switch and didn't like it either. So then I got stuck with these 3 books that I don't even know if I'm going to end up reading. I'm keeping them for now because I'm going to sit on it, and I'll maybe return to this series one day, but at the moment, I'm not really sure. I know that this series is like super, super hyped up. I'm just gonna hold up book 1 because, you know, it's a lot of books. Anyway, I know that this series is super hyped up, and, you know, people are very interested in it because it's very like weird, and like, I don't know, you get like mixed vibes off of it like before you even know what it's about. But it's just like a dark and taboo romance that have a lot of like bullying aspects to it, a lot of like trigger warnings to look up, and I don't know, Penelope Douglas just has a way of making me very uncomfortable while reading her books, and that's like a good and bad thing because I'm always intrigued. I always want to like turn the page, but then at the same time I'm like, why am I reading this? This is like one level too intense for me. And that's exactly how I felt in Conclave. And then I moved on to the rest of the series, and then like the plot line just like fell off the face of the planet. So I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing here, and I just like wasn't into it. But I don't know, I got all of the books. I wanted to tell you that I got all the books, but I am very mixed feelings towards this whole series. But anyway, that is all of the books that I wanted to share with you that I have recently got. So I'm curious to know, did you get any new book mail lately? What did you pick up? Or maybe let me know what you thought about some of the books that I recently got, the ones that I haven't read yet. Have you read maybe? What do you think about them? Let me know down below so that I could get excited to read them too. But anyway, if you enjoyed watching this video, then please give it a thumbs up. If you're not currently subscribed to my channel, then please hit that subscribe button. And anyway, thank you so much for watching and clicking on my video. And until next time, enjoy reading.